If you want to get a ton of value for your credit card points, but you do not want to pay an annual fee, then you've come to the right place, because in this video, I'm going to discuss the top 10 best cashback credit cards for 2023 that all do not have annual fees. These cashback credit cards are going to range in the specific value that they provide. So some of these cards are going to be foundational credit cards to your setup. Some cards are going to offer a really high multiplier for specific spending categories. And then some of my picks are just going to be really well-rounded credit cards that allow you to earn a lot of cash back for a lot of different spending categories. Regardless, there are a lot of cashback credit cards that are out there, but I picked the 10 very best ones that, like I said, range in the specific value that they provide, but I guarantee that something on my list will be for you. All right, if we get right into the video, I grouped all the cashback credit cards on my list into 3 separate categories, which are going to be foundational cards, high multiplier cards, and then well-rounded cards. Okay, so if we start by discussing those foundational credit cards that can act as catch-all credit cards in your setup, the first credit card that made my list is the Chase Freedom Unlimited. For those of you who have watched previous videos on my channel, you know that I love this card, and part of the reason for that is because of the welcome bonus, as the welcome bonus on the Freedom Unlimited is going to be to receive $200 cash back and 5% back on grocery stores during your first year if you're able to spend $500 or more in the first 3 months. So this welcome bonus basically has a great combination of having a low spend requirement, getting a couple $100s in cash back, and then also having the ability to use the Chase Freedom Unlimited as your dedicated grocery store card during your first year. But the reason that the Chase Freedom Unlimited is considered a foundational card is because you'll get 1.5x back on all purchases, which is more than the 1x back that you'll typically get with most credit cards. Plus, in addition to that 1.5x back, the Freedom Unlimited will also give you elevated multipliers of 5x back on travel booked through the Chase portal, 3x back on dining, and 3x back on drugstores. Because of that, the Chase Freedom Unlimited is kind of a hybrid between being a foundational card with that 1.5x back on everything, as well as being a good well-rounded card with the 5x back on travel through the Chase portal and 3x back on dining. But if you want a foundational card that is going to get you even more than 1.5x back on all purchases, then this next card, the Citi Double Cash, is going to do just that. The Citi Double Cash does not currently offer a welcome bonus, but the Double Cash card is going to get you 2% back on all purchases. Not having a welcome bonus is definitely a downside and one thing to consider on the Citi Double Cash, because unlike a lot of other cashback credit cards, the Double Cash card very rarely offers a welcome bonus, but definitely be on the lookout because only a couple months ago, the Double Cash was offering a limited time welcome bonus offer. That 2% back is going to be given to you in the form of 1% back when you make a purchase, and then 1% back when you pay off that purchase. But of course, you want to make it a habit to always pay off your credit card bill in full. So as long as you do that, then you will effectively be getting 2% back on all purchases. But there is another credit card that also offers you 2% cash back on all purchases, but unlike the Citi Double Cash, will consistently offer you a welcome bonus, and that credit card is the Wells Fargo Active Cash Card. The Wells Fargo Active Cash Card is going to give you a $200 bonus when you spend $1,000 or more in the first 3 months of having the card. And then plus, like I mentioned, the Wells Fargo Active Cash Card is going to give you 2% cash back on all purchases that you make. Technically, based on the existence of a welcome bonus and the fact that the Wells Fargo Active Cash Card will also get you 2% back on all purchases, some people would make the argument that the Active Cash Card is just an overall better credit card than the Citi Double Cash. But you also need to consider the ecosystems, because I think a lot of people would prefer the Citi ecosystem over the Wells Fargo ecosystem. But let me know down in the comments what you think. Overall, the big benefit to those foundational credit cards is that you can go on autopilot with your credit card setup, because you know that you're going to get that elevated rate regardless of what your purchases are. Now, if we shift into the next category of cashback credit cards, the next category that I'm going to discuss is going to be those high multiplier cards. So the next card on my list is the Citi Custom Cash. The Citi Custom Cash has a welcome bonus of being able to receive $200 cash back if you're able to spend $1,500 or more in the first 6 months of having the card. Now that we've shifted away from those foundational credit cards, the Citi Custom Cash is just going to get you that standard rate of 1x back in that everything else category, but you are going to get a high multiplier of 5% back on your top eligible spend category, up to $500 spent every billing cycle. That top spend category can include popular spending categories like restaurants, gas stations, grocery stores, or travel. And really the best way to use the Citi Custom Cash is to pick one specific spending category that maybe doesn't get covered by some of the other credit cards in your setup, and then use the Citi Custom Cash as your dedicated credit card for that one specific category. As an example, let's say that you already get a high multiplier for dining and grocery stores from some other credit cards in your setup. Well, then you could use the Citi Custom Cash as your dedicated gas station credit card to where you only use the Custom Cash when you spend money at gas stations. All right, the next cashback credit card on my list is going to be the Chase Freedom Flex. And before I get into a breakdown on the Freedom Flex, if you've been enjoying this video so far, then do me a huge favor and hit that subscribe button because it helps support the channel and I would really appreciate it. The Chase Freedom Flex has the same exact welcome bonus as the Freedom Unlimited, which you're going to be able to earn $200 cash back and 5% back on grocery stores if you're able to spend $500 or more in the first 3 months of having the card. So as I touched on earlier when I discussed the Chase Freedom Unlimited, this welcome bonus has a great mix of having a low spend requirement, getting a couple $100s in cash back, and then being able to use the Chase Freedom Flex as your dedicated grocery store credit card. But the reason that I placed the Chase Freedom Flex in the high multiplier category is because the key value characteristic that you get on the Chase Freedom Flex is you'll get 5x back on rotating quarterly categories, which basically means that Chase will announce some spending categories for a specific quarter that are gonna be those rotating quarterly categories, and then you'll just need to go into your Chase account and activate that 5% category. These rotating quarterly categories are also generally for some pretty popular spending categories. So for Q1 of 2023, those categories were for grocery stores, Target, and fitness clubs and gym memberships. So just like on the Freedom Unlimited, the Chase Freedom Flex is also going to be somewhat of a hybrid card between being a high multiplier card and then being a well-rounded credit card as well. All right, the next cashback credit card that made my list that I'll classify in the high multiplier category is going to be the Discover It card. If you were early on in your credit card journey, or maybe you're even looking for your first ever credit card, then the Discover It card is going to be a great option for you because this card is the easiest card to get approved for on this list, and it's built for beginners. The Discover It card also has a really unique welcome bonus in which you'll get an unlimited cashback match during your first year. So to give you an example, let's say that you earn $300 in cash back during your first year on the Discover It card. Well, then Discover will also give you an additional $300 cash back for a total of $600. Then, just like the Freedom Flex, the main value that you'll get from the Discover It cashback card is you'll get 5x back on rotating quarterly categories, and then you'll just get the standard 1x back on everything else. For Q2 2023, which starts at the beginning of April, the rotating quarterly categories on the Discover It card are going to be for restaurants and wholesale clubs, which can definitely get you a ton of value, especially if you go out to eat at least a couple times a month. I will say another benefit on the Discover It card and the Chase Freedom Flex is that their rotating quarterly categories typically differ, so you could theoretically have both of these credit cards and then get a different spending category that is covered by the rotating quarterly categories for each of these cards. All right, now if we transition into some of those well-rounded cashback credit cards that are going to give you elevated multipliers and a lot of different spending categories, let's start with the American Express Blue Cash Everyday Card. The Amex Blue Cash Everyday Card has a welcome bonus of being able to receive $200 cash back if you're able to spend $2,000 or more in the first 3 months of having the card. And then the Amex Blue Cash Everyday Card is going to be part of the well-rounded category because this card is going to get you elevated multipliers of 3% cash back on grocery stores, online retail purchases, and gas stations, and then 1% back on everything else. Plus, the Amex Blue Cash Everyday Card is going to give you $7 in credits per month or $84 for the year for purchases towards the Disney bundle when you use your Amex Blue Cash Everyday Card to pay for that subscription. Honestly, this is a really unheard of benefit because again, this is a no annual fee credit card that's going to give you $84 in credits per year. Plus you'll get those 3% categories as well. So when most people think of American Express credit cards, they typically think of cards like the Amex Platinum and Amex Gold cards, but in reality, the Amex Blue Cash Everyday is a great card for you to start your relationship with American Express and then get some of those more premium credit cards down the road. The next cashback credit card that I'm going to classify in the well-rounded category is going to be the Capital One Savor One. The Capital One Savor One card has a welcome bonus of being able to receive $200 cash back if you're able to spend $500 or more in the first 3 months of having the card. And then the key value on the Capital One Savor One card, which is going to be the reason that this card made my list for the best cashback credit cards, is going to be all of the elevated multipliers that this card has, as you'll get 3% cash back on dining, entertainment, popular streaming services, and grocery stores, and then 1% back on everything else. Even though those elevated multipliers are already really good, that's not all that the Capital One Savor One is going to get you, because Capital One currently has a partnership with Uber. So on the Capital One Savor One, you'll get 10% back on Uber or Uber Eats, and then you'll also get an Uber One membership. So when you combine the Uber benefits with the already really strong elevated multipliers, then the Savor One card is a great option as a cashback credit card. And honestly, I think Capital One has been doing a great job of increasing the strength of their credit card ecosystem. And I did just make a full video on this topic, so I'll put that up on the screen right now. All right, the next credit card on my list is going to be a card that can get you even higher than 5% cash back on a popular spending category like dining. And that credit card is going to be the Bank of America Customized Cash Card. The Bank of America Customized Cash Card is offering a welcome bonus of being able to receive $200 cash back if you're able to spend $1,000 or more in the first 3 months of having the card. The elevated multipliers on this card are going to be 3% cash back on the category of your choice, which can include spending categories like gas stations, dining, and travel. And then you'll also get 2% cash back at grocery stores and wholesale clubs, plus 1% cash back on everything else. But you're probably wondering, I did just say that the Bank of America Customized Cash Card is going to get you more than 5% back in a popular spending category, so how exactly does that come into play? Well, Bank of America Preferred Rewards members earn 25 to 75% more cash back, depending on what tier you're in, and what tier you're in really depends on how much money that you have with Bank of America in something like an investment account. And if you have a balance of $100,000 or more, then this would classify you for that 75% cash back, which would mean that you'd actually get 5.25% cash back on the category of your choice and 3.5% cash back for grocery stores and wholesale clubs. Plus, even if you don't have that much money parked away, if you had $20,000 with Bank of America, then you'd still get an additional 25% cash back, which is a nice perk that Bank of America has. All right, the last credit card that made my list for the top 10 best cashback credit cards in 2023 is going to be the Amazon Prime Rewards card. The Amazon Prime Rewards card is going to give you a $100 Amazon gift card when you are approved for the card, but there is no spend requirement in order to get that gift card. The point multipliers on the Amazon Prime card are going to be to receive 5% cash back on Amazon and Whole Foods purchases, 2% cash back on restaurants and gas stations, and then 1% cash back on everything else. Plus, the Amazon Prime Rewards card does not have any foreign transaction fees, so this card can be your dedicated Amazon and Whole Foods card, and then you can also take this card with you if you travel internationally. Okay, so the purpose of me separating all of these cashback credit cards into 3 separate categories was to discuss the specific value that you can get from different types of cashback credit cards. And if you were looking to build a really powerful cashback setup, then the best setup would be a combination across all of these categories. For example, you'd want to have one foundational card like the Chase Freedom Unlimited, one high multiplier card like the Citi Custom Cash, and then one well-rounded card like the Capital One Savor One that can give you exposure to a lot of different spending categories. So ultimately, those are my picks for the top 10 best cashback credit cards in 2023. But let me know down in the comments if you agree with my picks or if you think some other cards should have been included. Also, 2 of the credit cards that I included on my list were the Chase Freedom Flex and Chase Freedom Unlimited, which are 2 of the components of the most powerful credit card setup, the Chase Trifecta. So if you want to see a full breakdown on the Chase Trifecta, then check out this video next. Thank you all so much for watching this video, and I hope you all have a great rest of your day. Peace.